of Election Day 2020. I'm Mary Steinbach, Executive Director for the Montrose Recreation District. It is my honor to present the candidates for the next 3-year terms of our Board of Directors, and also to moderate this candidate forum today. Our goal is to help the candidates get their messages to the voters, and also to inspire interest in our board election on Tuesday, May 5th. On that day, we will run in-person voting to select directors to fill 3-year terms. Today, you will meet our 4 candidates for those 3 seats. 2 candidates are incumbents seeking re-election, and 2 are seeking to join the board as new directors. You will meet the candidates in just a moment. On Tuesday, May 5th, that is the general election day for special districts here in Colorado. On that day, our polling place is the Montrose Community Recreation Center, and walk-in voting will take place from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will be following the COVID-19 CDC recommendations for election polling locations to protect the voters, the election judges, and all of our staff, and we ask voters for their understanding and their cooperation. I'll provide a little bit more on that at the conclusion of today's forum, but let's move on to the forum itself. This forum is being brought to you only through the efforts of our incredible staff at the Montrose Recreation District, as well as the candidates' cooperation. We put together a highly motivated production committee who came up with the idea first and foremost, then they worked through the planning, they helped to create and vet the questions that we'll be asking of the candidates today, and they are right now working behind the scenes to produce this video and distribute it to all of you. I want to thank our staff committee members, Jeremy Master, Jada Redmond, Katie French, and Gabe Baca. The Montrose community is really lucky to have this dedicated and very fun staff, and I'm stoked for the support that they provide us all. So today's forum will run like this. You'll hear equally from all 4 candidates who will rotate in the order of their responses. There is a short series of questions that each will answer, that all of them will answer. And then just to spice things up a little bit, we've got one randomized question for each candidate that only they will answer. And that question will be selected by blind draw, the order of their answer. There is a specific time limit for each response. And candidates, one final reminder, I'd like to remind you to mute yourselves when you are not speaking. And please, of course, respond only when I call upon you. So let's get on with meeting our candidates. Today we'll have an opening question. You each will have 2 minutes to introduce yourselves to the voters of Montrose. So here's the question. Tell us a bit that you would like people to know about you, and include what do you do for fun, and where are your favorite places in town to spend your leisure time. Paul, you are first.
Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Wiesner. I'm a 1975 graduate of Western State College. While in college, I was a ski instructor at Monarch Ski Area, and I fell in love with the western slope of Colorado, and have spent most of my last 50 years on the western slope of Colorado. Following my college days, I went to med tech school in Denver at University of Colorado. After completing that, I worked at Delta Hospital for 2 years and set up the blood bank there that had not been previously set up. Following that, I returned to medical school, did my medical school and residency at the University of Colorado, practiced medicine in Montrose, came back after my eye residency and went into practice with Dr. Paul Story in 1986. Was in practice here for 32 years at Colorado West Ophthalmology Associates. I've been an active swimmer here for over 30 years. I was one of the original Masters swim team members and still swim 3 days a week when our facility is open. I love mountain biking. My wife has gotten me into pickleball, and I love to play music. My most favorite places to go around here, I was instrumental in setting up the Tabwatch Trail. I mountain bike extensively at Tabwatch Trail, the Rat Trails, and also at Buzzard Gulch. And I use the local bike trails by the river frequently for around the town biking. So that's Paul Wiesner.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that, Paul. Amy, you are next.
Hi, I'm Amy Worthen. My family and I moved to Montrose almost 8 years ago now. We fell in love with Montrose and all the outdoor recreation that there is to be had. My husband and I have 3 young kids, and we are not a family that is good at sitting still, so you can usually find us busy doing some outdoor activity. Love camping, can't wait to get back out into the mountains and go camping and hiking as much as possible this summer. In my free time, I have a love-hate relationship with running. So you can usually find me running all over Montrose outside, anywhere that's close to a restroom after so many miles. And my favorite place to spend my leisure time would probably be on my back patio, sitting around the fire pit. So.
Thank you very much, Amy. Christina, you're up.
Hello, my name is Christina Files. I was born and raised in Montrose. I left town for college and grad school, and then to spend 15 years working at Los Alamos National Lab. I'm absolutely grateful to be back in Montrose. While I'm here, I've been back for over 10 years now. I love to go cross-country skiing. I love to be out in the mountains doing about anything. My family and I, we ATV and hike and just see if we can get out there. And I also spend a lot of my spare time normally watching high school sports. I have a son that's in high school and I enjoy watching him, but I also like watching other sports as well. I have been a lifelong participant of the Montrose Recreation District. And when I was 5 years old, I was finally old enough to be allowed to play rec softball. And I have since then been a participant for many, many years. And then my son has participated. I have coached, I've been a parent. I was part of the campaign to have this beautiful rec center built. And I've been on the board for the last 2 years. I think it's funny, I'm loving my background here, bringing everybody some sunshine and a little duck. I'm in the Kid Watch room, if those of you that recognize it. I think this is the first time I've been in this room, which is kind of fun for me. And then I want to let you know, I think it's really important to me to be part of my community. And so I'm grateful that I've gotten to be part of this board for the last 2 years. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Christina. All right, Mark, go ahead and close us out on this question.
I'm unmuted now. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Okay, I'm a relatively new arrival in Montrose. We got here about 2 years ago. My wife and I were up in Moab watching our 2 little granddaughters have a motorcycle race, which was super cool. And for some reason, we were about to come home and my wife and I looked at one another and we just knew it was time to retire and go someplace else. So here we are. We'd lived on the Front Range of Colorado for, well, like a bazillion years. And I just want to tell you, this community is such a refreshing breath of fresh air. This is just the best place we have ever landed in. And I'm so delighted. I'm also honored to honestly to be having this conversation with you today. I'm a longtime rec center kind of guy. I've been working out, oh my God, for probably 40 years. I guess I got into this way, way back in the day, and it's become such an important part of my life. And one of the things that sold us on moving to Montrose, and this is really important, this gym, this rec center had as much to do with our making the decision to move here as any other thing did. So I'm really very honored that you guys would engage me in this conversation today. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for that. Christina, you reminded me I was quite remiss in not letting our viewers know that we have staged this forum at the Community Recreation Center. Everyone is in a different location throughout the center. Paul chose the climbing wall as his backdrop. He's in the game room. Christina, as mentioned, is in Child Watch. Amy is in the party room with a view of the pool. And Mark is upstairs overseeing the fitness area. So thank you all for playing along with us on that. We really appreciate it. All right, so on this section, each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer each of the next two questions. The term you seek on the MRD board is for the next 3 years. What, in your opinion, are the most critical issues or even actions that the Montrose Recreation District can take in those next 3 years? And how do you see yourself helping to address those? Amy, you go first.
Okay, I'm back on. I think that we as the rec district have, in the next 3 years, you can break it up into chunks of short-term goals and long-term goals. I think with the situation that we're presented with right now, a major short-term goal would be able to have our community be able to have our programs, have our facilities up and running, and having a safe place and having people comfortable coming back into the rec district community safely and having a comfortable situation for everyone. Long term for the rec district for the next 3 years, I have been on the rec district for 5 years and we've had tremendous growth. There's still a lot more work to be done within the rec district itself. I think that with this beautiful facility being open now for over 3 years, I think it's time for the rec district to look at what our next steps are. And that would be how I would be involved in that process as a board member, is working with our staff and Mary as executive director and board of directors to do strategic planning and really hear from our community members of what our needs are moving forward.
Thank you very much, Amy. All right, Christina, your turn.
Okay. You know, right now, as we're all recognizing by the differences of this meeting, we're in an odd time with the COVID-19 shutdown. And I think that our community members, I think the people in Montrose are just needing an outlet. We need an outlet for activities and for socialization. And I think the Montrose Rec District is in a very unique position to provide that. So in the short term, you know, the next year or so, I think that we're going to be pushing really hard to see what we can do to provide activities and socialization in a safe and financially responsible way to our community. And I think that it's important that we step up into that. Now, I know that we already have employees for the MRD who are working really hard with that. They're creative, they're inventive, they're really smart, very passionate people. And so I think as a board member, it's our job to help support them with that and also to bring feedback from the community about what people are looking for. In the longer term, I think that our focus needs to stay on enhancing the facilities that we have and enhancing the programs that we have. So, you know, like we're working on the Holly Park renovation. I think we need to pay attention to our other facilities like down at Youth Park. And make sure that those are meeting the needs of our community. And further, I think we need to continue with appropriate growth within the people that work for the MRD, make sure that they do have the training and expertise that they need, and then we need to retain those people.
Excellent, thank you. All right, Mark, you're up.
There, now we're unmuted. Okay. Gosh, what's important over the next 3 years? That's a really very difficult question to answer, particularly given the paucity of information that I have, at least right now. So I guess I'd answer this question with a question. Has the district engaged in an effort, both with their board and the management of the organization, to develop a strategic plan, to identify what are the key issues that are really drivers to this facility and this district? What direction are they moving, and what kinds of things do we want to do to try to be prepared to deliver the best experience for everybody who utilizes this space? So I guess my answer is kind of a non-answer. I need more information to be able to give you a cogent answer, but that is how I go about trying to get it.
Okay, thank you very much. And Paul, close us out.
All the other candidates have the obvious need in the future is post-COVID-19 financial restoration of the facility, seeing how our tax structure is, how the city is doing over the next year to 2 years. I think it's critical on reopening the facility. Are we safe? Do we have adequate space? I think as a physician and with my medical background, my connections with the health community in our city, with the public health and also with the hospital, that I would be an exceptional addition to the board at this specific time, looking at reopening and how we can do that safely. I think one of the issues that I noticed prior to the pandemic has been brought up by the other candidates is that our facility is so awesome. It's been utilized to death. We have classes which are overrunning. We had people, waiting to get into classes. I think that we need to look very closely at our post-COVID-19 attendance, what needs to be done, how do we structure everybody into the classes so that we can still have classes available for everybody, and look to the future and potentially expand our facilities as needed in the community when that time is appropriate. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you much. Okay, on to the next question. Tell us about your experience that will contribute to your work on the MRD board. Your professional work, your skills, your expertise, serving on other boards, etc. And obviously, many of you already touched upon this. Go ahead and expand. How have those experiences shaped the expectations you have for serving on this board? And how do you view your role as a MRD director? And Christina, you're going to start.
Very good. I am going to address, though, how I would be an MRD board member, not director. That would be okay with you, Mary? Okay, so like I've already mentioned, I think the biggest thing that I bring is that I am a long-term member of this community. I have connections in a diverse group of people. I have a history and knowledge of things that we've done in Montrose in the past and how we've gotten other things done as well. My day job is building information systems for power plants. So with that, that job really utilizes my logical mind, being efficient, and those tendencies to work with numbers and dig through data. The customer service part of my job really formulates my abilities to listen and evaluate different options and to communicate well with other people and to make decisions. I find that one of my benefits is that I can hear other people's thoughts and input and help them to formulate a plan to go forward. I've been on the county advisory board, and I was the chairperson of the campaign to build the new Columbine School. Going forward, again on the board, what I'm hoping to continue, if I'm elected again, is to be able to bring people together and to help find the best solutions to help out as many people as possible in our community. Thank you.
That was excellent. I will say that you guys are all doing remarkably well on holding to your 90 seconds, 1 minute, and so on and so forth. Thank you for that. Okay, Mark, you're up.
There we go. We're unmuted again. Okay, what about my experience makes me qualified to do this? Well, let's start with the board of directors bit of this. I've been an entrepreneur all of my life. I got into entrepreneurial things when I was literally in my 20s. I've been either started or been a part of a founding team for 5 different companies. We've had to create those companies and make them real. Every single time we had to go out and raise money, which is probably the most challenging thing I think in business that I have ever done. And I've done it over and over and over again. And I think that experience will translate very well to this organization, because it's not only in the raising of the capital, but also how it's deployed and how you make it operational in the organization. And again, that's something that I've got pretty extensive experience with. So I'm very excited to have the opportunity to do this, and hopefully that gave you a little bit more perspective on who I am and where I come from.
Thank you very much, Mark. And Paul, it's your turn.
Thanks. My experience is basically medical background. I have been the senior partner at Colorado West Ophthalmology Associates, been an active member of our medical community for 32 years. I am the past chief of staff of our hospital and was on the staff there for over 10 years in an active role. I'm active in the Montrose Rotary Club, have done many community projects with the Rotary Club. I am the past president of the Montrose Community Foundation and have also served on the advisory committee of the Montrose Community Foundation. I was also on the original Colorado Plateau Mountain Bike Association board, have helped build the Tabawatch and Kokopelli trail system and set up that entire trail system over a period of 10 years in the late 1980s, early 1990s. So I have extensive experience working with other governmental agencies also. I think my past experiences have shown me that there's a very diverse set of ideas in our community, the importance of reaching consensus by listening to all points of view, finding a common pathway to move forward for the benefit of everyone in our community. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you very much. All right, Amy, close us out.
Awesome. So my contribution and past work that will help me on the MRD board, I just finished my 5th year being on the board of directors for the rec district. We've gone through tremendous growth and change within those past 5 years that I feel is beneficial to continuing that history and track record of the rec district and having the continuity. I currently am president of the Montrose Rec Foundation, which is the nonprofit sister arm to the rec district that provides youth and senior scholarships to members in our community, as well as capital campaign projects such as the Holly Park renovation that Christina spoke of. My professional background is actually in education. I taught many years before we started our family and a little bit in between in there. I think that probably my biggest role by being on the board is to be engaged, to have effective communication skills, to not only with our staff, the board of directors, but within the community of Montrose, since we are public servants to the community. And yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you all for that very much. All right, this is where we get into a little bit spicy. These guys don't know which question you're going to get. I don't know which question you're going to get. So for this, the next 4 questions, one for each of you, you will have 1 minute to respond. And so the first question, Amy, here is your question. One of the most significant values of the MRD and exemplified by the board and staff is partnerships. Can you think of any partnerships that we either do not have today or that should be improved or strengthened, and in potentially what ways?
That is a great question. We do exemplify partnerships. The rec district has made a great effort in those opportunities to capitalize on creating partnerships within our community. I do think that by serving on the Montrose Rec Foundation, one of the gaps or partnerships that could be strengthened in our community is transportation and access for youth after school. We have wonderful facilities and we have after school program at the field house, but we are not able to utilize with the past transportation system, having kids have access to our facilities after school. One way I think that we could capitalize on improving that access to others in the community would be that we now have a new busing system. hopefully in the fall with school resuming, that making contact with that new partner in our community and finding a way that we can make transportation and access not an issue.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. All right, so next, Christina. What ideas do you have about how else the MRD can and maybe should serve the community besides providing recreation opportunities?
One of the things that's really come out in the last year in conversations with community members as well as with staff and some of the great things that we've done here is to recognize that the MRD in all of our programs and through the rec center is a community-centric place. It is an opportunity for people to engage with each other that they would not have normally done so. Your kids put on a soccer team with somebody, another parent that you've never met before, you get a chance to engage with them. You get to take classes here at the rec or take senior trips with people that you've never met before. And while we've been working that for the last year, or in my recognition, it's really come to the forefront a lot in the last year. I'd like to see us continue that. I'd like to see us continue to recognize that this is a great place where connections happen, and that if we can continue to facilitate those in any way. For instance, here at the CRC, we have the coffee area in the lobby out front. That has been very helpful to that gain. But I think we can do better in other ways as well, particularly while we're in such uncertain times right now. So it's just something I'm looking to see. I'm looking forward to seeing how we continue to build on that in the upcoming years.
Thank you very much. All right. Next. Whoops, I looked. I have to mix them up again. All right, Paul, this question's for you. Are there any things in particular that you think the Recreation District is challenged by or struggles with? And what potential solutions might you have for those?
Well, I think the rec district, at least prior to the COVID-19, was struggling with actually the size of the facility and potential overcrowding, as I mentioned before, for certain classes. How can that be alleviated without building new physical structures? And if new physical structures are going to be built, you know, how do we finance those and how do we get things like that going? I think the future will kind of show what direction we need to go in. You know, things are kind of up in the air right now. But certain solutions might be more availability of outdoor activities, you know, classes that can be held in the summertime outside the building where it might be actually safer to do so. Certain things like that, possibly thinking outside the box for new outdoor activities to enhance the classes and facilities that we already have. Thanks. I think overall, the rec district has always done a great job of, I don't think all the struggles and challenges they've faced, your present board and the members that are on the board now have done a good job of addressing. So I hope that I could continue doing that.
Okay, very good. And Mark, of course, you know you're last. So your question is, what role do you view the Montrose Recreation District plays in the overall livability and vitality of Montrose? What does having the MRD really mean to Montrose's future?
Well, excuse me, it means an awful lot. I think I mentioned to you one of the fundamental reasons why my wife and I are now residents of Montrose, and by the way, really happy residents of Montrose. A lot of that had to do with the existence of this facility that we're sitting in right now. And I think I just think this is such a significant community asset that can show up in so many different ways. As I was listening to what Paul was saying about trying to do outreach to different parts of our demographic, you know, Montrose tends to be a little bit of an older community, but we've got everybody else in there as well. And we've got to be fairly even-handed and how we reach out and touch that community. At the same time, we've got to be very sensitive to who's there and what kinds of things they bring. But what does the rec district mean to Montrose's future? I think it's fundamental. I don't think that you can really have a complete community without this kind of an institution, right? Be like saying, well, can you have a community without a bank or without a restaurant? Probably not. I would argue this is exactly the same kind of an institution. So it's fundamental to Montrose, and I think there's just an awful lot of opportunity for us to guide and grow in a lot of very productive avenues in the future. So.
Thank you. I know that was really hard to cram into a minute, so I appreciate you guys just trying to hammer that out really fast. And I know there's so much more to be said for all of those. Okay, so now we're on to the next question, which all of you once again will answer. You'll have 1 minute in your response. And so this question is, what is your wow? In other words, how do you differentiate yourself as a board candidate? What's your reason for even supporting yourself or asking others to support you for a board seat? And Mark?
Okay, very good. Honestly, until this came up, I hadn't really thought of it. But how would I differentiate myself? I've had a lot of board experience over the years, primarily, again, in entrepreneurial companies that I've been a part of or been an investor in. And I think that experience will definitely serve me well and perhaps in some ways differentiate me from others that are out there. But I think it's the breadth of experience and having to have dealt with so many different kinds of initiatives and opportunities and problems over the years. I think that equips me to be a pretty productive member of this group. So there you go.
Okay, thank you for that. And Paul, you follow.
Hard to follow Mark. He's a good speaker. And I would reiterate especially his comments about having people come here and love the rec center. As a physician and recruiting candidates in the past, that's been a big game changer in getting good physicians to come here with families, is having this facility. I think I have a passion for the rec district. I think it's important for the future. Young and old use this community. All ages benefit by our facilities. My own family and children were involved in swimming, the Montrose Marlins. They grew up learning discipline, goal setting, and determination by using rec district facilities. They all received college scholarships, and all of that would not have been possible without these facilities that were provided by the district. And I want to make sure that they're here for the future. And I'd like to say that I don't think you can go wrong with any of these candidates. I think your people that are on the board right now have done an excellent job. I think they certainly bring, a past history and kind of, know what's going on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think Mark would be a great candidate too. I don't think you can go wrong with anybody that you've heard speaking today. I think all of us are interested in the community, and we're all interested in moving Montrose forward. Thanks.
Thank you so very much. All right, let's see. Lost my place. Amy, you are up.
Okay. I feel like, Mary, that this is probably the hardest question of all the questions you've asked us today. I agree with Paul that all of the candidates are capable, intelligent. You couldn't go wrong from what I've seen. Something that sets me apart would probably be my years with the district. I look at having that history and experience as being an asset. I also feel as though the board of directors is kind of a small piece of our puzzle. We are a team that works really well together. So I feel being engaged and being approachable is something that I'm good at. But we also work with the rec district staff, which is a huge staff, and so that cohesion of those two groups together has created a lot of success, and I hope that with board of directors' passion that continues. So.
Thank you very much. All right, Christina, you get to close us out on this one.
All right. Well, I really agree with what Amy just mentioned, this idea that we've got a really good thing going on the board and the partnerships throughout the employees of the rec district and out with the community. And I think it's really powerful that we've gotten the word out there, that so many members of the community know who we are and can approach us. And so I think part of my wow factor maybe is that I'm on the board now, and that I would really like the chance to continue that. I think that that's an important piece, is to allow us to continue the things that we've already got going. And then kind of to borrow Paul's word, I'm very passionate about this community. I'm very, very invested in the success of Montrose and in the people that live here. I've seen the rec district from a variety of perspectives. And I think that through the connections and the different experiences I've had in Montrose, I can bring other people, keep them involved in the MRD.
All right, excellent answers, one and all. All right, so now that brings us to the conclusion. This is the end of our prepared questions. And now you each will have 2 minutes to provide your closing remarks. And here again, we're going to go with blind draw. Paul, you get to go first.
Well, I'd just like to say, I think I've said everything I wanted to say. I think they've done a good job of looking at how to provide voting for you to come down here and be able to actually vote. If you didn't get anything in the mail, you've looked at this and you're interested in voting, there'll be voting available here at the rest district. Well, and I'm sure Mary will tell you and go over the times and everything that's available, but I know a lot of thought and planning has gone into making that available for you. So if you want to vote for one of or all of these candidates, come on down and do so. Thanks. I don't think you can go wrong with anybody.
Thank you so much for that. All right, Christina, you go.
All right, well, I want to thank everybody who's watched this video. I think that it's impressive that you're choosing to be involved with the Montrose Rec District and that you're choosing to be an informed voter. So I appreciate that, and I'm grateful that you've watched the video and taken the time. I think for any of us, if you have any additional questions, please reach out. Let us know what your questions are, either before or after the election. We anticipate all being here for you. We want to make sure that we're helping direct the MRD where it needs to be. And I've really enjoyed my last 2 years on the rec board. And it's been very enlightening to me to know so many things that are going on, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. And I really would like to continue that, but we'll see after Tuesday. So thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Amy, you are next.
Okay. First and foremost, thank you to the staff for setting this whole production up. Those that know me know that technology is not my jam, not usually my gig. I'm more of a person face-to-face contact, and I have been missing that exponentially lately. So like others have echoed, come on out Tuesday, support the candidates. The staff has done a tremendous job of making the flow for Tuesday as safe as possible for voters. Also, one thing to leave you with, being on the rec district for 5 years, a lot of people look at a board, you go to meetings and they're long and they're lengthy. Sometimes the rec district, we do have long meetings. I look forward to them every time. I love seeing the team that we have. I love coming and being part of the discussion and seeing the growth and where what we've done as a team and where we can go in the future. And so that's that. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. And Mark, you get the final words.
Okay, here we go. Amy, your enthusiasm is just awesome. That's really cool. It's so cool to see somebody who's been involved with something as long as you have and still has your level of enthusiasm. That tells me something's working here. So good for you. God, last thoughts. Whether it's through the board or some other way, I'm just so delighted to be a part of Montrose and to be a part of this rec district. And so whichever way we decide to go, I'll still be here. And however I can help and serve you guys, you let me know. And I'd like to do that. And that's what I've got for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to each of you for really making our jobs easy. Certainly my job in delivering today. I appreciate that. I think you're all right that that we can't go wrong, that we have amazing candidates here. We've been presented with some super thoughtful answers from all of you. I personally would be thrilled to work with any and all of you. And you're right, Mark, no matter, and all of you I think said this at some point, no matter the outcome come election day, I know you all each will continue to be around, and I will look forward to connecting with you, whether it's here at the CRC, whether it's out at the field house, whether it's in outdoor pursuits, whatever the game is. I know that you have already, each one of you have made fabulous contributions to growing this place we call home, and you will continue that well into the future. So thank you for being a part of that today. Thank you, Paul Wiesner, Amy Worthen, Christina Files, Mark Dreyer, the Montrose Recreation District Board of Director candidates. So thanks again to our production team who have been working behind the scenes. Thanks to our partners from the Montrose Fire Protection District who actually run the election for us. Thank you to everyone for tuning in to help become more informed on these candidates and their views, and for helping us to build a stronger community. A reminder that our general election is to elect 3 of these 4 candidates to 3 director seats for 3-year terms, and that will be held on Tuesday, May 5th at the Community Recreation Center between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. We'll be here all day. Please think about coming at non-peak hours to spread ourselves out. Again, we'll be following the CDC recommendations for in-person polling place. We'll do everything we can to keep everyone safe. We ask all voters to please help keep each other safe by bringing your own masks, wearing fresh gloves, as well as bring your own pen to mark your ballot. We will, however, provide those to voters who do not have their own pending supply. We will be practicing social distancing, cleaning and disinfecting, and have designated entrances and exits to flow through the polling site appropriately. We do, on some hand, we think this is a celebration of sorts. It's an opportunity to elect additional great leadership to our board. We know people are eager to come back to the center. This is your chance. The center is not yet open. You can visit the rec center by coming out to vote on May 5th. I also want to note that we're pleased for the partnership with San Juan Mobile Coffee, which will be parked on site for a part of the day on Tuesday to serve your refreshment needs and to help us celebrate the day. So thanks, John, for helping us with that. Doing our part, and we hope that you will join us to continue to build a greater Montrose. Thanks again, be safe, and we will see you soon. MRD out.